Hey there, beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about Pinterest Predicts 2025. Pinterest Predicts is Pinterest's annual trend prediction for the next year. So this was actually released in December 2024. It predicts the 20 things that Pinterest sees trending in the next year. So there are 20 things in lifestyle, fashion, and beauty that Pinterest have estimated will be trending in the year 2025. So we're going to be going through all of them and talking through them, talking through what we've already seen and talking through how we see them going forward within the next year. Without further ado, let's get right into it. So the first trend that we see Pinterest talk about in their Pinterest Predicts 2025 is titled Cherry Coded. So I'm going to be reading from the Pinterest website exactly what they say it is. Tasting notes: dark, sweet, and such a vibe. Gen Z and millennials will infuse cherries into their makeup, menus, and mood boards this year. One thing's for sure: Tarte will have your heart in 2025. Menus, mood boards, and clothing items. So those are the major key points that they say you'll see a lot of cherry in. And technically, we've already been seeing a hint of this at the end of last year with the Jacquemus Le Chiquito bag that came out in cherry red towards the end of the year, as well as the marketing for that bag. Insert the picture right here with the sensory marketing equating the Le Chiquito bag with cherry and using that as a focal point for the marketing of the bag. So we've already been seeing that. There's also the Marc Jacobs bag that came out towards the end of the year that Nara Smith was promoting on her social media and was accused of plagiarizing another creator's content, but that's a story for a different day. So we've already been seeing that, especially with like the fall colors that I mentioned in my fall trend prediction being burgundy. So burgundy being very close to the cherry color, but a more muted version. So we saw that last year during fall fashion, and we're also going to be seeing a lot more of that in this year with cherry accessories as well as patent leather cherry red boots and cherry red coats and so many other items that can be cherry red. So we're going to be seeing a lot of that, and we've already been seeing elements of it coming into the mainstream, making us aware that this is going to be an upcoming trend for fall 2025, but as well as various aspects of the year. We've also been seeing a lot of cherry drinks come out, so that's like in the taste element of the cherry coded aspect of the Pinterest predicts. So we've been seeing that, and we're going to be seeing a lot more. Let me know if you've seen any other cherry examples, maybe late last year or early this year so far, and what you expect in terms of being cherry coded. For the second trend that Pinterest says we're going to be seeing is called Aura Beauty. Pinterest says 2025 will be the year of the makeup mood ring. Gen Z and boomers are driving this high heel look that's all about honing in on color aesthetics and flaunting it from chin to cheek. Find your aura, wear it to confidence, and consider yourselves dipped in vibes all day long. This Aura Beauty specifically is kind of like a subset of what was trending, well, two different trends in 2024. So there's the blush blindness that people were highlighting, and then also the 2016 makeup that a lot of people were trying to recreate last year. So 2016 makeup in the sense that it has to do with a lot of color, a lot of vibrancy, a lot of mixing and matching, and a lot of color theory specifically. And then blush blindness in the fact that it's going to be a lot of blush. We're going to be seeing a lot of beautiful blush application, a use of blush in a way that people are not shying away from the use of color in their makeup. So there's going to be a lot more of the embracing of the blush blindness, basically. So there's a lot of that, and as well as colorful eye makeup, colorful makeup looks that have to do with like mood rings and the general sense of what you would picture in terms of an aura when people talk about aura. So we're already seeing a lot of that. There's also the aspect of the aura beauty that translates into nail art. We saw a lot of aura, pink aura nails last year and in 2023, but we'll also be seeing a lot more of those, implementing multiple colors into a specific nail or a specific nail set, as opposed to just a singular color or a singular aura element. So we're going to be seeing a lot more of the blue tones, greens, pastel pinks, and purples that are going to be going into this aura beauty. We're already seeing the rise in purple blushes, and we're going to be seeing a lot more deep purple blushes as well as light purple blushes being released throughout this year and things along those lines. The third Pinterest predicts trend is something along the historical lines. It's called the Rococo revival. The Rococo era is roughly between the 1720s to the 1770s period. It's a time categorized by whimsical, light-hearted, and very colorful looks, and also a rise in French artistry that portrays a lot of light-heartedness and pastel colors that depict a lot of nature and playful and whimsical elements into them. That's roughly the 18th century France, right after the death of Henry XIV, and it's kind of like an offset of the more serious and formal and grandiose period of the Baroque era. So it's kind of like a course correction that happened after the Baroque period, right after Henry XIV's death. So Pinterest says 2025 prediction: all frills, no chills. This year, weddings, parties, and aesthetics will draw inspiration from the Rococo era, a late Baroque period that was both opulent and ultra feminine. Gen Z and boomers are driving this trend forward. Classic corset gowns, luxe accessories, and ornate tablescape. I feel like one thing that kind of like ties very well into this Rococo period, besides like the frills, the pastels, and the wonderful dresses, this is like very specific, and if you don't really think about it, you wouldn't really know how it fits into the Rococo period. But it is the vintage heart cakes that were trending most of last year. So the fact that the style and texture and design of the vintage heart cakes, being the ruffle patterns, the ruffle pipings, and the pastel and very brightly colored cakes that we saw last year are hints of the Rococo period, specifically in terms of like pastries and like design, and they fit very well into that Rococo aesthetic. So those were like a huge indicator of the trend we see of the Rococo period, as well as the bloomer shorts that we saw trending for some time last year. We're also going to see a lot of corseted looks. We've already been seeing that, but obviously those will also continue, as well as a lot of frilly, very girly, very feminine frills, dresses, and things along those lines, and things of those nature really like take over in terms of like the aesthetic style. There's also a makeup element to it that kind of ties into aura beauty, so that is also something that plays a very important role in the Rococo revival. In general, it gives a very Marie Antoinette vibe when it comes to like the Rococo revival in terms of like the fashion, the aesthetics. When you think of something that screams Rococo, it's very much Marie Antoinette. Sea witchery. POV, you're in your sea witch era. It's so much more than seashells and starfish. In 2025, Gen Z and millennials will dive headfirst into sultry siren makeup, wet wavy hair, and moody mermaid manicures from sun up till moonlight. So that involves a lot of sea-inspired jewelry, sea-inspired nails, very siren, seductive. Siren, office siren. Remember, we talked about this last week. Exactly. So, sea witchery, the very siren and alluring dark aesthetic makeup, as well as a lot of sea accessories like pearls being tied into the Rococo revival. See, everything really just ties into each other. That's really how trends work. There's always an element of something in another that you probably wouldn't really think about, but they all tie into each other when it comes to what's trending and what's predicted to be trending. So we're going to see a lot of sea-related accessories as well as sea-related nails and sea-related makeup. So a very siren and seductive makeup is something that we will be seeing a lot of during this year. Surreal soirees, curvy candlesticks, fantastical flowers, and gravity-defying centerpiece. In 2025, people will infuse their tablescape and decor with more modern surrealism. Gen X and boomers are driving this out of this world party trends. This specifically kind of like is very much okay. So we saw the rise of dinner parties last year, but this year it's taking it up a notch with surreal and very modern surrealism centerpieces like a cake bouquet or a fruit sculpture. We'll be seeing a lot more of these as we go on in the year when it comes to centerpieces for parties and people's get together. We're going to be seeing a lot more of these extravagant, very Salvador Dali-esque centerpieces that would be the focal point of tablescapes in 2025. The next trend that we'll be seeing a lot of is castlecore. Medieval is having a major moment in 2025. Gen Z and millennials will take home decor inspiration from ancient castles, while fashion and accessories will be Gothic inspired. It's a comeback in the highest order. There isn't much I want to say on this particular trend, but it's something that we would evidently see as the year goes on when it comes to fashion and as well as people discussing housing plans and decorations. We're going to see a lot of like medieval stuff. I actually watched a video the other day of someone talking about dressing up in a suit of armor for a date. Weird, but that's on a different end. But specifically, we're going to see a lot of chainmail, necklaces, and jewelry, and a lot of medieval styled footwear coming back into trend, with there being a lot of medieval dresses or medieval styled dresses coming back into fashion. Very closely ties into House of CB's rebrand, anyway, before their current rebrand. But like the whole milkmaid dresses that were kind of like trending last year, even though those are not exactly medieval, they are very similar to the aesthetics of the medieval dresses that we would be seeing. In 2025, people will turn their entire lives into tiny, mighty doll houses. Pinterest users will go all in on baby doll makeup, cute room ideas, necklace charms in the most whimsical colors, dolled up. So Pinterest predicts that there will be a trend of people being dolled up. So we've already been seeing kind of like subsets of this with the Barbie movie 2 years ago, but we're going to be seeing a lot more of it. The color scheme gives very 1950s in terms of like the greens, the blues, the purples, the reds. They give very 1950s. We'll also be seeing a rise in charm necklaces. We already saw a rise in people like doing charm bracelets or charm necklaces related activities the past 2 years, but they're going to be taking it up to a different level and kind of living their own Barbie dream house life. That's what we're expecting for the next few months. The fisherman aesthetic. Meet the effortlessly cool town fisherman. In 2025, Gen Z and Gen X will embrace a laid-back maritime attitude and bring a sea levy take on everything, even if the ocean is nowhere in sight. Get ready for cable knit sweaters, sardine tattoos, and stripes on everything. We're going to be seeing a lot of nautical theme dressing. We already saw a lot of that kind of like last year with the grandpa trend in terms of like dressing. We're going to be seeing a lot of that, but with more fisherman themed items like the fishing hats or the cable knit sweaters, and then upcycled fishing lure as accessories. We've actually seen the beginning of that trend, like I mentioned, with the grandpa aesthetics in terms of like the dressing for last year. But I think where we would see a peak of this fisherman aesthetics would be during summer, and we'll see a lot more of like the fisherman cargo shorts and the cable knit sweater that people really like lean into when it comes to fishermen's. And then we'll be seeing a lot of boots, wellies, and things of those nature when it comes to fashion trends. The next trend we will be seeing is the goddess complex. Pinterest says it's mood. You know your worth in gold. In 2025, boomers and Gen X will go all in on their feminine power and embrace their divine drip like never before. Everything will be a muse moment, from gold facials to goddess braids to sublime nail design. This is going to be somewhat of a trend for the year. We've already seen like the rise in goddess braids that took over last year. The past 2 years, basically, we've been seeing goddess braids in every style, every color, in every element, but we'll see a lot more of that this year, as well as like the embracing of gold, giant hoops, and anything that kind of like represents that ultra feminine goddess energy, and even down to the nails. The last trend for this video is titled the Rebel Flute. Think Grease, the movie, and think the aesthetics of Grease, the movie. It gives very much that energy, a very much James Dean forward aesthetic. Pinterest says it's the sweet taste of nostalgia, now with the fearless twist. In 2025, Gen Z and millennials will give the old school soda pop a radical makeover. So scoot on up to the soda fountain for flutes that's anything but traditional, and top it off with a cherry if you dare. So this is specifically more of a food trend, but you also see anything that's like a food trend, you could also see it pop up in fashion or in lifestyle. So we're going to be seeing a lot of cream flutes, root beer, and things of that nature when it comes to food trends in 2025. We're going to see a lot of root beer flutes. We're going to see a lot of flute, that flute energy, that old school diner energy when it comes to drinks in terms of training drinks in 2025. So that's something to look out for, even though it's very much a very American thing. It's not a general world thing. So I feel like this trend will specifically just be I watched an American do this on TikTok and I want to try it out, or strictly be very much American based. Those are the first 10 trends on the 2025 Pinterest Predicts trend list. You can check out the remaining 10 on the Pinterest website. Just search the word Pinterest Predicts 2025 and the dedicated link for the Pinterest Predicts website will pop up, or you could find it here on the screen and in the description. So if you have any suggestions or any thoughts of what you think will be trending, or do you think that they missed the mark in any sort of way when it comes to what they see trending for 2025, just leave a comment below so we can discuss. Do you think they're right? Do you already see any of these things in terms of trends coming up on your For You page, on your Instagram Explore page, or do you see them in your Pinterest account? Let me know in the comments so that we can discuss. Let us discuss everything Pinterest, because I love Pinterest. It's the only social media without the actual social. It's just media for you to consume, and I absolutely love it. So let me know if you also love Pinterest. But what trends you see trending in 2025, as well as if you think that any of their trends are wrong. So you can catch the full 20 trend list on the Pinterest website today or any other day you feel like looking at it, and you can let me know what you think in the comments. So have a great day, have a great life. Until next time, live beautifully.
All evolutions faced with the day, it all fades away.